Thank you for joining us. Today we have a series of webinars regarding broadcast electronic communications between yourself and your agency media buyer. And this will allow for seamless and easy communications and approvals throughout your process. You may watch these in succession or jump ahead to the topic you need to review. Let's get started. When the agency buyer submits an avail request to you, you'll receive an email with the avail details. Within that email, you'll see information about the date requested, when the avails are due back to your buyer, the market and rating source information, as well as the target audience they wish for you to work with. They may also include information about the day part mix, the lengths, and the cost per point goals. You'll also see the flight dates listed here, and if there are any hiatus dates, they'll be omitted from the sign-up. So be sure to review this carefully. Just below that, you'll see additional guidelines, and these are additional details that your buyer wishes for you to know as you create your submission. Now, avails can be submitted to the agency by either replying to this email and attaching the avail file, or at the top of the email, clicking this link to view the RFP. All you need to do is simply click on the link, and a web form opens up for you. Again, you'll see information about the RFP, and at the bottom, you may add comments or questions, which will then be sent back to the agency once you submit. They'll be alerted to your questions or comments, and then they'll reply to you, after which you'll receive another email alert with their response. All the back and forth communication is tracked for your and their convenience, and the most current email communication to you will contain the complete conversation from all subsequent back and forth emails. Once you're actually ready to attach the avail files in this form, you'll simply come select your file from where you have it in your directory saved down. So we'll choose this one. And it's sent directly back into the system for the agency once you click submit. You will need to add a comment here. And once you click submit, we'll give this just a second. Then you'll get a success message here letting you know that your response and your file were successfully sent to the buyer. When you receive an order from your agency buyer, you'll receive an email that has information about the order listed within the email. You'll also have a PDF of the order attached to this email. Alongside that, you'll also have an electronic copy, an SCX version for cable, and an XML file for TV and radio. Within the same email, you'll see a link. Click here to review open orders and take various actions. You're going to want to click that link, and a web browser will open up with your order dashboard. Now, this dashboard is specific to your email address, so you'll only see orders here that were sent to you from your buyer directly. Another thing to note about this dashboard is it is only going to show you orders that have placements within the last 60 days. So anything older than 60 days will not appear in the dashboard. Now, this can get pretty lengthy depending on how many orders you have. So within this dashboard, you have the option to sort and filter. Let's say that we wanted to sort by order number. You'd simply click the header and it will sort in ascending, then descending order, depending on how many times you click. You can also filter. So let's say we have a pretty lengthy list here and we only want to see orders that are for WABC. You can click the funnel in any of these headers and get a listing of items within that column. Simply deselect what you don't want or select what you do and click OK, and it will hide anything else. Now, to bring everything back, you can go back to your funnel, select all. Within this dashboard, your orders are going to show information on this line about the client, the product, the worksheet name, which is relative to the worksheet your buyer uses in Advantage, the station, the order number, the buyer name, the flight dates of the order, and the status, as well as the status date. You'll click this link to be able to take actions against that specific order. So if we click View, the actual order detail will open up, and in the header, you'll see information about the station, again, the client product, when it was placed, the order number, what the status is, information about your buyer, all of that in the header information. Just below that, we have some buttons. The View Order button will allow you to download the PDF of the order again to your machine. Download will allow you to download the electronic file, either the XML or the SCX again as well. Now Download is New will allow you to download the XML or the SCX with an order status of New. Toggle Rates will allow you to see tiered weekly rates. And you'll know if there is an inventory line with tiered weekly rates because they'll be denoted by this red flag here in the top right corner of your default rate. So if we wanted to see the weekly rates, we simply click on this button and it opens up a column next to each of the dates here to tell you what that rate is. For instance, this first week is at $600 and then subsequent weeks are at $500. To turn that off, we simply click Toggle Rates again. Now, responses will track the back and forth between yourself and your buyer regarding this order. So you would click on responses to see that historical. For instance, we see where it was sent to us, but nothing else as of yet. If we wanted to send a comment or a question to your buyer, we can simply click on New Comment, type that out, and click OK. Your buyer will get an email alert with your question or your comment. They'll respond. You'll get an alert with their response, but all of that is captured here in responses. So it's a nice way to keep everything in one place so you don't have to go digging through old emails. Now this final button here is an instructions, sort of a help feature for you. If you ever are in this order and you're trying to take some actions and you're not sure what to do next, come up here and click this I, and it will give you a step-by-step or a how-to on certain actions within your dashboard. Now, just below those buttons, you'll see your inventory, specific lines of inventory. The line numbers, the days, the start and end times, the program. If it is a cable order, you will see a column for the cable network, the day parts, and the lengths. You'll see a column here for bookends. If that inventory line is a bookend line, that will be checked for you. And if checked, spots must be in multiples of 2. The next column you'll see is an added value column. If that's specifically an added value line, that will be checked for you. And then we have comments here. So if your buyer has comments for you, those will be reflected in this column. The next is default rate, and this default rate applies to every week within the flight unless there are tiered rates denoted by this flag. If we scroll over just a bit, we'll see we do have a couple of hiatus weeks here listed in red, and then towards the end we have a total spots and total gross columns. Finally, we have some demographic metrics over to your far right, including ratings, grips, impressions, cost per thousand. Now up to your far right, these are where you're going to take your actions. To accept the order, you must agree to the terms of agreement, and you can simply click on this link to see what those terms are. If you decide to reject this order for whatever reason, then you'll be required to enter a comment here, and that comment will be relayed to your buyer. Now if you're going to accept, you simply agree to the terms of agreement and click accept. You do not need to enter a comment, but if you want to, you certainly can. Now, upon acceptance, your buyer will get an email alert telling them you've accepted the order. And when you come back to your dashboard, the status will have changed from new revised order to order accepted. Now, you can always get back to your dashboard by clicking on an order email link within an email that has been sent to you from your buyer.
Let's review how to submit make goods. Before submitting a make good, you must agree to the terms of the agreement, which are usually the T&Cs at the bottom of the insertion order, and accept the order. Once that order is accepted, go ahead and highlight the first line that you're going to submit the make good for. Now, before submitting make goods, I would suggest toggling on the rates so you can see the weekly rates, just in case the agency has different rates by week. When you're submitting those make goods, you can see the total dollars. Go ahead and highlight your first line and add a make good. A window is going to pop up showing you your ordered spots. Select the non-airing spot row and double-click under the week that the spots are being preempted. Enter those spots and select OK. The system is going to remove the spots from the ordered line and add in a make good line. You'll notice that there is a new line number on this make good line, but it is attached to its original line number 1. Make good line number 001-01. If you were to submit a second make good for this line, it would have -02, so it increments the line numbers for you. Go ahead and click in the line if you need to change any details of that make good spot. For instance, it's going to run different days of the week and a different time. Then go ahead and scroll over to the week where it's being preempted and go ahead and remove the spot and put in where those spots are going to run. You can either click out of the line or select Save to save that make good. Now if you scroll down to the bottom and you review here in the blue space, it's going to show you your total order, total make good, and then your grand total. If for any reason you're submitting a different amount of spots, maybe your rates are different, you will see a variance here down at the bottom. You might want to check your variances before you submit them to the agency. If you're going to submit any more make goods, you can highlight the next line and select Add a Make Good as well. Let me talk about this Add Replacement option. So let's say when I go to add a make good, I'm actually going to preempt one spot, but I'm going to give the agency 2. And those 2 spots are going to run in a different time period. Maybe I've been giving the agency a lot of make goods and I need to kind of make it up to them and I have a bonus spot I can add in. I can go ahead and select Add Replacement. So see, I put in my first make good line. Then I can select Add Replacement. It is going to add a second make good line, and I'm going to be able to give them a spot in another time period. I can remove the rate and give them that bonus spot. And then I can also remove the ratings and impressions. Now it's okay if you leave them there, but a lot of times agencies don't give a value to added value. And then once I enter that, I can go ahead and save. Now again, I can go down to the bottom and look at my variances, and you can see there is an extra spot from the original. The Make Good Offer Review button allows you to review all of the make goods that you have just put into the schedule before you submit it to the agency. You can see up here on the first line my ordered spots, what's been preempted, and my Make Good Offer. If there are any variances for that line, you'll see that as well. And then it will go to the next ordered line, what's been preempted and what's being made good. Once you review, you can go ahead and submit. Now, if for any reason you want to start over, you can discard. It will discard all the make goods. Or if you made a mistake, you can just go ahead and click into the line, double click in there, and make any changes that you need to make before you submit it to the agency. So I'll go ahead and submit this for their approval. Now the agency has the option to accept or reject your make good. If for any reason the agency rejects the make good, they're going to tell you why, and you can go back into the make good offer and either make a change or you can discard it completely and start over. If I click in here, I'll be able to see the lines where I have submitted make goods. If for any reason I need to submit another make good before that agency has approved my current submission, I can do this for any ordered lines that don't currently have a make good submitted. And all I have to do is click on them, add a make good, and go through that process again. Once the agency has reviewed and accepted the make good, you will get an email telling you that that make good has been accepted. You will also see that the status has changed to order accepted. Let me go back into the order details and show you a couple of more features here. First, if you highlight any of the lines where you do have make goods attached, the magnifying glass is going to show you the full audit trail from your original to any non-airing and make goods. If you have multiple make goods on this line, you will see obviously a longer list here, but you will see all those details. So if you need to go back and see how many make goods have I put on this order or how many make goods have I put on this line, you can see those details. The instructions or help key, this is going to give you details on all of the features with the order dashboard, as well as the make good details here. This portion of make good training is for Ampersand vendors only. After you've received an order, the process is to agree to the terms of the agreement and accept the order. An order must be accepted in order to enter make goods. Once you have that order accepted order status, with the new option that we've added called Select Make Good File, you now have the ability to import into the agency system your standard make good form. If you are going to utilize the Select Make Good File import, for all make goods that you submit from the beginning to the end, all have to use this feature. If you are going to choose to use our manual add make good feature, you cannot use the import make good feature. So let's talk about how the import make good feature works. Go ahead and select the Make Good File button, and then select the file from your directory to import. So that file is going to import into the agency system and show it as Make Good Offer Submitted. Now the agency can either accept or reject the Make Good offer. If they do either of those, accept it or reject it, you will get an email letting you know. Once a make good has been accepted, you can then submit another form make good for them. Once the agency approves the make good, you'll receive an alert or email telling you that the make good offer has been accepted. After make good acceptance, you'll see that the status for your order has gone back to order accepted. If you would like to submit another make good, you would follow the same process to select the make good file. There are also instructions and help here, if you scroll down to the bottom, to explain how the make good submissions work for Ampersand. You can still, again, follow the manual make good process for make good submissions. That video is found earlier in this vendor training.
When an agency buyer sends you traffic instructions through Advantage, you'll receive an email. Within that email, you'll find information about those instructions, as well as a link to click. You'll want to click that link to open up a web form, and within that web form, again, you'll find information about those traffic instructions in the header, as well as some options just below. The View Instructions button will allow you to download a PDF of those instructions to your machine. The Responses window tracks the back and forth communication between yourself and your buyer. If you did want to communicate with the buyer, you have a question or a comment, you can simply click New Comment, enter that information here and click OK. They'll receive an alert with that question and be able to respond to you. And again, all of that communication is tracked for your convenience here in the Responses window. Now the Accept button will confirm receipt of traffic and creative, if it's included, to the buyer to let them know you've received it and accepted it. Now just below these options, you'll see your traffic detail grid. This will detail out the traffic line by line, including cable networks, day parts and lengths, start and end times, as well as creative numbers and titles. This will also relay to you the rotation and the location that you can find that creative file. If it's attached, you'll see it notated here, or it might direct you to go to a specific FTP site or when that file might arrive to you. If you see that the file is attached to the instructions, you simply go over to your left and expand this line of detail. Once you expand that line of detail, you'll see the file listed here. You'll be able to go to the right and click Download. This allows you to download the file to your machine. Now, the email that you receive can be used as a source of communication and responses. For those specific instructions, you can simply reply to that and ask any questions or make any comments. And again, that communication is stored, and each new email will contain all of your communication details.